Yesterday, the ZNS Bahamas Showcase was in the Rock Crusher area canvassing the Mount Moriah and Fort Charlotte communities. Residents and community leaders joined members of the Fort Charlotte Urban Renewal led by Inspector Denzel Barr.
We're canvassing the community street by street. We're doing surveys to find out the social conditions, the environmental conditions that really contribute to the occurrence of crime and deviant behavior within that community. And so far we've received much success, as well as we're partnershiping with business community, the churches, to do small home repairs.
Well, members of Parliament for Mount Moriah and Fort Charlotte, Arnold Forbes and Andre Rollins, were also in hand for the community initiative.
I think that urban renewal is important for the well-being of all Bahamians. I believe that this is the linchpin that can break the back of crime. We continue down this road. The responses have definitely been very positive. It's been, in some cases, it's been almost life-changing from almost day to night.
It has exceeded my expectations. I have to say that it is through the efforts of Superintendent Carolyn Bowe and Inspector Denzel Barr that we have seen, and the constituents of Fort Charlotte have seen a lot of positive things happening, and we really appreciate what is being done to improve the quality of life for the residents of Fort Charlotte.
In other news tonight, Balmar officials marking a major milestone in the construction phase of its $3.5 billion Cable Beach-based project today. Construction of the development's iconic casino tower has reached the 100-foot mark, and officials maintain this is just one step in building the region's largest single-phase resort development. Aldaviz Munnings attended this morning's ceremony.
When completed, the casino hotel, considered the centerpiece of Balmar, will host the largest casino floor in the Caribbean with over 100,000 square feet of gaming area and is expected to compete with most sophisticated casinos around the world. Reaching 100 feet in elevation, the 9th floor level demonstrates meaningful and sustained progress in Balmar's construction and propels the resort on pace for its official opening. Now in March, the last of the 6,100 piling cages were installed, completing the resort's foundation. By June, the Balmar Casino and Hotel Tower had reached 8 floors, the Grand Hyatt was at 3 levels, and the Mondrian and Rosewood structures were beginning to take shape. With the theme, One Team, One Dream, and now 100 feet, resort officials admit getting to this point wasn't easy.
But we believe with all the support we received so far, with the spirit of the teamwork, we can deliver the many milestones along the way on time.
They're hot days, they're rainy days, they're windy days. Things don't go as planned. Machines break down. They always break down at 2 in the morning. They never break down at 3 in the afternoon. And the resourcefulness and the cleverness is second to none.
Balmar officials presented Prime Minister Perry Christie with a commemorative flag to mark the milestone during Wednesday's brief ceremony. The Prime Minister chided the milestone now requires the government to pay Balmar more funds. Mr. Christie maintains his stance on ensuring more Bahamians are employed there. So far, Balmar is on course to create a total of 8,000 permanent jobs for Bahamians, with a contribution of more than $305 million in annual wages. Balmar has invited Bahamian contractors to bid on over $165 million of projects and awarded more than $117 million of contracts to Bahamian firms, all in the first 17 months.
I am optimistic and will work assiduously with the developer to ensure that more and more Bahamians will benefit from jobs and entrepreneurial opportunities as this exciting project moves forward.
The Prime Minister also anticipates Balmar's announcement of a new casino partner that will coincide with Genting World Casino's future presence in Bimini and will transform the Bahamas into a world-renowned gaming destination.
Such a partner would add greatly to the marketing clout, customer base, and cutting-edge products of the world's most famous brands represented by our hotel partners, Hyatt, Mondrian, Rosewood, and Sheraton. Such an arrangement, I believe, would draw millions of first-time visitors to the Bahamas from both established and new emerging markets.
The Christie administration is keeping its promise to generate more investment in the Bahamas.
I am confident that with the opening and continued development of the ultra-luxury Albany Resort, with its residential Gulf Spa marine facilities, the advancement of other projects now in the pipeline for Grand Bahama and several family islands, together with the completion of the Baha Mar, the largest single-phase resort development in the history of the Caribbean, we will change the tourism landscape of our country.
Now that Baha Mar officials have achieved this milestone, Prime Minister Christie eagerly awaits the final completion of the multi-billion-dollar project here in Cable Beach. Prime Minister Christie noted that when Baha Mar officially opens in December 2014, that will happen during the second year of this current 5-year term. I'm LTV's Munnings, ZNS News.
Now that Baha Mar has reached the 100-foot mark, the government will have to pay Baha Mar developers just over $3 million to sustain the project's roadworks. Prime Minister Perry Christie confirmed to reporters today that those funds are part of the more than $500 million deficit.
We made $2 million plus to the teachers. We have to make a significant sum to the Public Service Union. We have this coming up as well, and so it's all included in budgeting how much we're going to pay for this budget year.
Now, it's only been 2 days since the government announced its statutory board appointments, which have raised questions in some quarters. Prime Minister Christie clarified reports that the newly appointed chairman of the Bank of the Bahamas didn't know about his appointment before the announcement was made.
I personally called Mr. Richard Demerit. He was in Florida about to come to the Bahamas. I called his home. He wasn't there. I called him on his cell phone. I spoke to him on his cell phone. I asked him if he would be prepared to serve. Not the Minister of State for Finance. I did, personally. Right? I then called the managing director of the Bank of the Bahamas and asked whether he would be a suitable person to serve. Once I got those clearances, the appointment was made. So it would be totally incorrect, all right, for anyone to say, including him, okay, that he was not notified and be surprised, because this was something the Prime Minister personally did.
Well, Prime Minister Perry Christie also assuring reporters today that the first 100 days of his administration's plans will be executed through legislation to be introduced in Parliament when it resumes July 25th. That includes the mortgage relief proposal to assist hundreds of homeowners facing foreclosure.
We will be bringing all of the legislation that are required for us to complete our 100-day program. And so I'm taking legislation to Cabinet shortly so that we can be ready for the House of Assembly when we go back on the 25th.
That includes the mortgage plan. Any update on that? I know you were in discussion phase.
That includes the mortgage plan. So we'll be able to speak to that issue all within 100 days. Meetings are taking place now between the clearing banks and the central bank, the Ministry of Finance. We are working, and all with a view to ensuring that I'm able to speak to the country near the end of 100 days to say to them, this is what has happened, this is where we are.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, we'll tell you why police have taken more than 100 motorbikes off the streets. That story's after the break. Stay tuned.